Hi, welcome in, welcome back. It's Lauren the Mystic here, and today I wanted to talk to you about a huge transit that just occurred yesterday, but that is going to be reverberating in the sky for a while, and that is the Sun conjunct Pluto. So welcome in. I wanted to talk a little bit about the symbolism of what this means. And then I'm going to go through all 12 signs based on your rising sign. And we'll, as long as you know where your rising sign is, I'm going to point out where this transit is going to be taking place for you. And we're going to pull a few oracle cards to really tune into perhaps what soul growth lessons or what kind of new chapter energy is opening up for you with this conjunction. So welcome in, welcome back to all of you returning. Thank you for those of you that are new. I am Lauren. I am a mindfulness and energy healing coach who is very, I won't say obsessed, but fascinated is the appropriate word by astrology. And I've particularly been studying and following the path of whole sign house astrology for the past 4 or 5 years, really deeply diving into whole sign house astrology. This past summer, finally got my certification throughout my studies, but I'm still studying, right? This is an ongoing journey. And what I really like about the practice of astrology is it feels to me like we are able to break down our own personal and evolutionary growth through beginning to understand transits and how they're actually showing up for us energetically in our real lives as circumstances unfold, and really kind of bringing in that theoretical understanding of what's going on with the energy into the understanding of how is that hitting me personally in my own life and my own soul's growth journey. And so for that reason, I'm a huge advocate of journaling along with the transits, of following along with your own natal chart. And if you don't happen to have a copy of that and would like one, or you're not sure your rising sign, I will drop a link below where you can go to a free resources. There's a multitude of them to get a free natal chart. And, use the house system that you most resonate with. I personally really am drawn to the whole sign house system. And so that's sort of the approach that I begin to take, is from that vantage point. But I am going to timestamp this video. I'm going to do my best with that. Actually, I need to start the timer here. So first things first, I just wanted to invite you, if you haven't already, if you get some good insight out of this video, I would really welcome and be truly grateful for all of your subscriptions, all of your likes. So thanks in advance for that. The Sun conjunct Pluto, let's talk about it. Okay, so yesterday, the Sun and Pluto met in the sky. That's what a conjunction is. It's when one planetary body meets at the same location, the same degree within the same zodiacal space, and they're meeting in the sky. And when the Sun is on its journey around the zodiacal wheel and it comes into contact with another, whether that's the moon or another planet, another body of energy, it's sort of considered to be like a kiss. And it's called a cazimi. And it's meant to be understood kind of as if the planetary energies or the sentience, the wisdom energetically contained within that planet is speaking to the other planet, right? And so for that reasons, it's sort of referred to as a touch or as a kiss. But what it's touching or kissing is the heart of the Sun, the deepest aspect of that Sun's consciousness. And the Sun, being our solar light, our biggest luminary body, is representative of the noetic light. And I just wanted to bring that into your consciousness, bring that into your awareness. Because when we have these really big transits, which I would consider this to be one of those really big transits, this is the first time Pluto is direct. So Pluto did already come into Aquarius in its retrograde journey last year. And so it moved into Aquarius. It did touch the sun, and it came back before it moved forward for good. And now that it is in Aquarius on its forward journey for good, it is going to remain transiting the sign of Aquarius for about the next 18 years of our life. That's big. That's a really long time. And so this is the opening moment, if you will, this first big conjunction. The cazimi moment is this sort of, we can think of it very similarly to how we consider a new moon. It's a seeding point. It's the beginning point of a new cycle, a new chapter. And going back to this idea of what does the noetic light represent? Well, the noetic light speaks to a philosophical concept. It speaks to the reference that there is a higher field of knowledge, which we often refer to as our intuitive knowing, our higher self, or our soul aspect of self. It's that aspect of ourself that goes beyond the ego, it goes beyond the everyday, and it seeks that eternal wisdom, right? That higher level knowledge. And that knowledge, that intuitive knowing, is a guidance tool for us in our life's journey. It's something that we each trust in. We each receive this knowledge that's unique to us. It's our own. And it's spoken to us through our consciousness, through our own connection with the sun. And so from that respect, you know, within the context of astrology, a lot of times individuals will follow their horoscope based on their sun sign, when in fact, according to Western or Hellenistic astrology, you would follow according to your rising sign to be more accurate, because your sun can be in any house in your entire chart. And what it's really representing is the long-term arc of the storyline, the storyline of your life. So it's more representative of that longer term vision, whereas your rising sign, your ascendant sign, is sort of, what are you doing right now? Where are you headed in your soul's growth? My dog's getting ready to bark at something, so excuse that in the background. There he goes. There must be somebody passing by us right now. But what I was saying is that the rising sign, you know, we can think of that more in association with the nodes shifting with the moon, which shift about every 18 months. So it's more of a shorter term vision, a shorter term trajectory when we're thinking of where are we going in our own soul's evolution. However, our sun sign is speaking to the entire big picture of it all, right? And so with that, it's receiving this universal divine wisdom, that noetic light that is guiding its journey, which is you. You're the recipient, right, of that journey. So it's guiding your soul's light on its journey throughout your lifetime. And the concept of noetic light actually comes from and is associated with Plato's allegory of the cave. And it's around this idea that we are each, as human beings, a part of this divine connectedness of intelligence, this field of intelligence, that there is a sentience taking place within universal order, that there is a sentience that we are then connected to within our own heart. And that allegory of the cave speaks a lot to the reflections of light and how that can be analogous to getting caught up in our own mental trappings sometimes as we're going through our own journey, how we can get trapped in our minds or have a tendency to get wrapped up in materialism or egoic things or things that we see in front of us, but we misperceive because we're not seeing that bigger picture or where the light originates from. And so the allegory of the cave is really about the casting of shadows, that through that casting of shadows, that pictorial that the shadows are creating on the cave wall, it's about that person believing that that is the only truth that there is and feeling trapped or confined within that truth, when in reality they're able to walk out of that cave and see an entirely different truth or different reality. So when the sun, who represents that noetic light, that divine wisdom that is channeling information to our own higher self, is receiving contact and communication from Pluto, what that's doing then is infusing our own intelligence, our own incoming intuitive knowing with the transformative energies that Pluto is bringing. So let's talk about Pluto for a moment. And obviously I'm covering these pretty briefly, but this is what was kind of intuitively coming up in my mind as I was thinking about this and really wanting to speak to you all about this topic. Excuse my drink, by the way. Okay, thank you. So Pluto is often very misunderstood because it's quite powerful. That word is overused when we're talking about Pluto because there's kind of a lack of good descriptors for the extent to which Pluto can kind of rock your world. But I'm going to do my best. So traditionally, Pluto is often associated with deep transformation, revolutionary energies, kind of an upheaval type of feeling. But it's the revolution to create a reconstruction, a better whole after having gone through this sort of tearing down and excavation process. So because Pluto is an outer planet and so slow moving, this will happen individually and collectively. We will each be feeling this, but then there will be collective themes that we're all noticing and all experiencing at the same time. This is often why Pluto can be associated with some generational ideologies because it's so slow moving, right? So, called the god of the underworld, Pluto really is called that because, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have this tickle. Still kind of getting over this nonstop cold stuff that it won't leave the house. But it's associated as being the god of the underworld that deeply dives right into what's underneath, hidden from your conscious awareness, hidden from the consciousness of even sometimes society, if we're going to speak to collectivity here. But what I really understand Pluto as is sort of shaking things out of the shadows, if you will. This is going to be a weird analogy, probably, and so I apologize about that, but it's a very profound analogy to me most of us have had that experience where we've gone to a concert or we've gone to a performance and there's a very deep bass instrument at that performance. Excuse me. We've also had the experience of having had perhaps a vehicle drive by our home, our residence, that had their own, maybe they had a fancy sound system in their car and they had their music up very loud, and perhaps that bass from the music entered into the walls of your home. So I want you to think about when you've ever experienced or been in the presence of like a deep reverberating bass vibratory frequency in terms of music. When you're at a concert, when you're at an event or a show and you're in the experience of that music and it's at such a loud volume, what happens to you physically is that all of your cells within your body begin to reverberate with this. And sometimes it can actually feel like it's taken over your heartbeat or it's taken over your breath or something. It almost is as if it's affecting you literally at that physical molecular level. You can almost feel it at that molecular level. And I have had the experience before, not often, but it's happened once or twice where there's been a car with such loud reverberating bass that was sort of still or at a stop close to my home. And it's literally shaken photos off of a shelf that was, the shelf on the wall, having like a photo on there. It's shaken the photo off the shelf and it's fallen. Luckily it didn't break because that shelf in particular was over a couch. So the photo fell on the couch. There was no broken glass or anything. But my point to all of this is that in my own experience, and I have natally, I have Pluto in my first house. And it is in conjunction with my North Node. So I understand Pluto well, and it's not easy to deal with because what happens is when there is a very big transit, what you could say is that it's very reverberant in your life, and it will really have this effect of kind of rocking you or shaking you up. And that's why I used the words shaking out of the shadows, because Pluto is associated with the concept of shadow work that we know from Carl Jung's work, the concept of doing that deep inner work, that deep spiritual work. It's often associated with the spiritual awakening journey. It's diving into these aspects of ourselves that we know are like repeated patterns, repeated beliefs, repeated circumstances that are showing up in our life, and beginning to bring the conscious light of our awareness into that dark place of the shadow or the unknown areas of our unconsciousness to try to determine what's driving this behavior in my life, right? What can I do on my own to shift energetically in order to change the outcome of this repetitive X, Y, or Z, right? Well, Pluto has a very cathartic role in this process of assisting you in diving deeply and assisting you in discovering what needs to, quote unquote, fall off your shelf, right? So what I've noticed is that Pluto will stir up the debris that's actually either in need to go or it's in need of transformation. It either needs to be reworked and reordered, or it might be moving on, closing out a chapter in your life in order for you to walk into a new growth chapter or a new expression of self or a new understanding of something that's very important to you. And so this transit in particular, I believe, is going to be opening up this field of energy starting yesterday. It's opening up this field of energy where we're now going to get to start to come into contact with where are we being shifted? What is sort of being shaken up for us? Where are we being redirected? And it will reverberate. It will be something that you will feel within the cells of your body. I think I can easily say, thinking of that analogy of like being within the context of those, in the environment of like in a musical show where you're receiving all of this really amazing experience around you, and every one of your cells is like partaking in the energy of the music. It's like each one of your cells are listening, you're not just listening with your ears or, taking it in with your eyes and comprehending it all with your mind, but it's very somatically felt. It's very viscerally felt within the body. And that is really the experience of Pluto. And so Pluto can have that's why it gets, I think, the association of transformation, because it's a transformative effect of bringing light into unconscious areas, unconscious spaces, and allowing you to experience those spaces now in a different perspective, or bringing a new awareness to things, So this is just because the transit occurred yesterday, and this is one thing, I'm going to speak on this for just a second. A teensy pet peeve, but not really. It's just sort of like, I would love to see more awareness within the astrological community speaking about how transits don't just occur in a vacuum. It's not just as if a transit occurs on a single day and then, oops, it's over, it's past. Why are we still talking about this? Some of you might actually be wondering, why am I making a video about a transit that occurred yesterday? Well, I'll tell you why. Because that transit is going to unfold over many, many months. And this is the beginning, like I said, of an 18-year cycle. And so the sun is just starting to show us some glimpses, right? We're just going to be getting some glimpses through our conscious awareness of what the riches Pluto has to bring. And for those of you who have been following my channel for a while, know that I love to incorporate readings to kind of draw in some of the soul growth messages, processes that the energetics might be bringing in through transits or whatnot. And I did a series of readings called What Riches is Pluto Bringing to You? As Pluto moved into Aquarius. And that was really kind of just like opening up the idea of the energy of Pluto being in Aquarius. Well, now this is the sun bringing a deeper sense of awareness to that area. And this is something we're going to be talking about for a really long time, because Pluto's not going anywhere anytime fast. So this is going to be unfolding. This is really just the beginning of that journey space. So that being said, again, check out your chart and look and see where Pluto and the sun met between 1 and 2 degrees of Aquarius. So where in your own natal chart is 1 and 2 degrees of Aquarius? Where is that falling for you? What house? And that's going to really speak to what area of life is really going to be being highlighted the most. So there will be a multitude. I mean, as always, there's always going to be sextiles, trines, oppositions, etc., taking place around the fact that Pluto's in Aquarius, right? However, it's going to still give you kind of the overarching conceptual energy that you might be working with. Okay, so all of that being said, I'm going to move on to doing some brief oracle readings for each sign to look into some soul growth messages All of this will be timestamped below. I am going to be doing this based on your rising signs, but however, so listen for your sun, moon, and rising, because I think you'll have messages in all three places. But your rising sign is going to be accurately telling you where is Pluto and the sun meeting up. So in terms of the location in your chart, if you do know your rising sign, that will point you that direction. But I do believe you'll have messages for the oracle readings for all of your three signs. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to pause this for a moment and shuffle the cards so you don't have to hear that on camera. Okay, Aquarius up first. Ooh, Aquarius. All right. Oh my goodness, how cool. I'm going to get that in a second. It fell on the floor. Let me get another card, please, for Aquarius spirit. Show us what is going to be most affected for our sweet Aquarians. Aquarius rising, this is going to be happening in your first house. So huge time for you for the next 18 years. This is going to be affecting your sense of identity, your sense of self, your sense of individuation within the world. It could affect your health or your appearance, how you're known in the world, probably all of the above, right? All of the above. Big energies for you. A card that fell on the floor that I still need to, here we go. Okay. What I am doing is I'm pulling a few, this is from the Ethereal Alchemist Tarot deck, pulling a few cards to try to get a sense of what areas of your life are going to be the most drastically affected. Okay, so it's definitely going to be a period of time where you're mastering your mind through a sense of self-love and self-actualization, really being yourself. The card that flew out and fell on the floor is the Star card, which is Aquarian energy. It's all about showing the world who you are and the healing journey of stepping into your highest light after having gone through a very difficult hardship. So I'm feeling like this is completely new chapter energy for you, Aquarius. And we've got the card, you know, the first sign out, the first contact from the Sun to Pluto, talking about the sense of being held, sureness in the soil, unseen help, the support, the community that's around you, that's surrounding you at this time. Speaking of which, we pull the community card. Devotion fell out for you. Wholeness came out. And sacred union. This is beautiful, beautiful energy, Aquarius. I love this. So it sounds like you're going to be going through a deep process. And no doubt, with Pluto in your first, you're going to be going through some personal transformation. And what it's saying is, I feel like what you're being brought to is an entirely new sense of self, truly. A concept of your livelihood, your sense of self. Yeah, we've got shaman, ancient healing wisdom. So you, I'm feeling like Aquarius, you're the inner shaman right now in your own life. You're really healing from a chapter that has been incredibly difficult. It's brought you a lot of stress, a lot of sleepless nights, this feeling of loss, this feeling of things having not worked out in your favor. And now it's time for that shift to be taking place. Now it's time that we are cooperating, we're working together towards a sacred and shared vision. And I feel like that's where community really comes into play. You're going to be creating new connections. I feel like your tribe is lining up for you. We've got this beautiful devotion to the healing journey. We've got a sacred union at hand, which that was the first symbol, the Cups card, to kind of guide me into the fact that this is a very deeply heart, the words that came through were, it's like a heart revolution for you in terms of your own sense of healing and wholeness. So you're coming into your own, darlings, and I absolutely love this for you. All right, so that is for Aquarius Risings. Let me get these cards back together, and we'll move on to Pisces. Pisces, so we're going backwards in the zodiacal wheel now, Pisces. Pisces, this is going to be taking place for you in your 12th house. So this is the house of really your own energy. The 12th house is like the oceans of Pisces, right? The depth, everything that it contains, the entire territory of your unconsciousness, your unconscious mind. It can talk about the areas that you don't see, so deep shadow work. It can talk about areas of addiction or dependence or the taboo. And so the topics that are coming up for you are love, marriage, your higher self. Let's see if we can get, whoops, I'll do this away from the mic. Sorry, I'm still getting used to that. I want to get a sense of what, cups. So this is a lot to do with what aspects of yourself, on a spiritual journey are you recognizing need to shift, need to change their expression, right? How you express your energy in that capacity, or how that energy expresses in your life. So it can be understanding the vibrational components to perhaps some negative thoughts or some beliefs that you're holding. Just tune into, of course, what feels true and authentic for you. As I'm pulling, these cards. Boy, they're flying across the room today. Okay. Okay. So here we go, Pisces. We have got after the rain. This is really about finding the vision that you thought was lost, is what I just heard. It's sort of like you had given up hope on something, and now all of a sudden an opportunity resurfaces, or you really feel renewed in some capacity. There's a sense of relief, a sense of finding the silver lining after the storm, of really being, I'm hearing, held in the divine plan, like you have an awareness of something that you went through, that you moved through, and you now understand this in a more comprehensive fashion. So something very difficult you've moved through is over. This is the rainbow after the rain. This is the healing and the alchemy that takes place after that occurs. And it occurs through your own ability. I have to cover this up because of the image, but it's through your own ability to express yourself through the heart, through the throat, through the sacral. And it's very much in pertaining to the energy of the lover's connection and the Hierophant. So the lovers can obviously be a relationship energy, but this can be a relationship of all types, and it might represent a multitude of relationships for you. So you'll just have to tune into, what does that feel like for you? Excuse me. This tickle, it just won't leave me away, or leave me alone. So it could represent your relationship with yourself, in addition to Yeah, in addition to another very important relationship. And it might be multiple, again, relationships, because I'm hearing self, obviously love relationships, and then I'm also hearing job expressions. And what I was just shown as I was speaking, sometimes I'll get channeled images as I start to talk about the subject. And I was just shown this understanding of something within a relationship has caused this deep transformation of self. There's an up-leveling that's taken place, and it's required you to go to this higher aspect, your higher aspect of self, connecting in. And so it's been about stepping into a greater awareness of how you want to show up and what kind of love connection you want for yourself. How do you want that connection to support you? And not just with love, but how do you want that, ask that on all levels. How are you showing up for your own self, for your own self-care, to honor your own self? And what do you need to maybe adjust and change in your expression of that? Same is true for work. How are you showing up in your career, in your business, within your work relationships? And what might need to be tweaked in the expression of that, so that you are showing up as this Hierophant energy, as this elevated energy of your own expression. Hierophant also represents marriage. So it can be that there are topics of marriage that are really at the forefront for you. And it might be part of this 18-year journey, or it might just be part of the spiritual growth that's taking place. I really feel like this is more to do with a spiritual growth journey, especially since for you it's happening in the 12th. And it does involve a sense of leaving behind things about perhaps how you were relating to others, or how you were expressing, or even not expressing, leaving behind old behaviors, old ways of thinking, old beliefs that don't serve you and that don't serve this higher expression of you now, Pisces. And so we also have the dance card, the celebration, because this is a celebration. What you're celebrating is your wholeness. You're celebrating bringing all of yourself to the table. You're not playing small anymore. This is a Pisces who's stepping into bringing their energy forward. We also have the guidance card of autumnal equinox. So autumn equinox could be relevant, but this is about release, about, autumn equinox is when we shift in season. It's often associated with the harvest. So something to do with the harvest energetically of what has culminated, and then are you satisfied with that harvest, right? Are you feeling a sense of celebration, a sense of joy with that, or what about it, its expression needs to be tweaked? So definitely a very introspective period for you right now, Pisces. All right, let's see. We are going to go on to Aries. Let me gather my cards. Go on to Aries. So Aries, this is happening in your 11th house. 11th house is the house of legacy. It's also your community, the networks, the social networks that you are a part of throughout all of your known acquaintances. So it's sort of like culmination energy between who you've gone to school with, who you work with, all of the alliances that are really there in your life to assist you. Let's see, what else is this about for our Aries, please, Spirit? Okay. So this is going to really be about you working in collaboration with others. You're going to be working on growing your pentacles, darling, growing that money. Looks like there is some transformation happening around things that stress you out in relationship to this collaboration and this vision that you'd like to pull together. So again, refer back to your known consciousness, what's known to you now in regards to your own allegiances professionally. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? All right, Aries, the anointed. Answer the call, darling. Leadership, empowerment, soul's gifts. So for some of you, you're stepping into a leadership role within your work, within your community, and you're bringing something to the table. This could have to do with the energetic legacy of the timeline of your family. Maybe you are literally shifting into a new chapter in your life, and with that is creating, some new opportunities here for you to work with others, to bring new visions to the table. All right, let's get into this fully. We've got rainbow blessings abound for you, Aries. We have got desert vision quest. And we've also got wind activation. So wind activation is really in tune with the fact that all of this is taking place in Aquarius, is an air sign, fixed air, by the way. And it is activating a huge transformation. We have in multiple areas 2 3s, so 3 might be important to you, Aries. We've got teamwork, we have collaboration, we have working on our future visions and what is important to us. We've also actually got the vision card and then again, desert vision quest. So, darling, Aries, you are a visionary leader. What the hell are you visioning in? Because I'm so effing curious. We all need it. Clearly, you're a powerhouse here right now, Aries Rising. This card in particular, Desert Vision Quest, talks about a vision quest is sort of like a soul-searching journey that we go on when we go off into the wilderness and we disconnect from socials, we disconnect from the outside world, and we really turn our focus inward. We connect into spirit. It's often a time where you fast, where you don't, you're purifying the body and you're focusing more on meditation, on prayer, on listening within, and going on that quest. This is a quest that's often associated with prophets, with biblical figures, with those who have received these deep activations from having had gone on their vision quest. And then during that time, they receive massive incoming downloads from spirit that they then bring back and share with others in community. They share their visions, they share what comes together. So there's something about these visions and this need for you to go within. It is in service of others because this is happening in your 11th house. So this does really have to do with your energetic legacy, the legacy of your career, the legacy of how you are known by others, the legacy of what you are contributing to the greater whole of society, your network, everybody around you. And it is a call, an internal call that you may be receiving to step up and do this almost on like a spiritual growth level. So perhaps you're feeling a shift in your sense of purpose. Perhaps you're feeling being called to step up as a leader in some capacity in your life. And also to really do the work of not only going and spending time going on that vision quest and that sacred quest, but then sharing that and working on what comes through working on how you can share that for the betterment of the whole, of others, which is a very Aquarian thing to do. Okay, moving on to Taurus. All right, I'm going to pause for just a moment, Taurus. Okay, Taurus. So, darlings, this is happening in your 10th house of career and legacy. So that's a big deal. For the next 18 years, this transit is going to be hanging out in your 10th. So what is this saying about your legacy, about basically the 10th house is that highlight house in our charts, right? It's the culminating point. Often our midheaven is in the 10th. Okay, just pulling cards for you here, Taurus. Getting your cards. So the first one out we have is healing is happening. You're not broken. Trust the process. It's safe to soften. So sometimes what can happen is as our soul, as our journey is moving to that top place, it's often when we receive the most kind of challenges where we feel like we're going up that hill and then our feet get kicked out from underneath us. We have sometimes a difficult time standing up in our confidence. Again, there can be a lot of soul growth journeys associated with the 10th. And it could be about opening yourself up to receive, being in a state of receptivity, of receiving. And that receiving can come in all forms. It can come as divine guidance from the universe that is trying to make its way to you. It could be about abundance. It could be about also receiving assistance from other people around you to help you work on what your goals are, what you're trying to bring to the table. So let's try to get to some clarity here with these tarot cards. Just wanting to know, what is this conjunction about for you? What are you going to be healing from? What is this journey for you? All right, one more, please, Spirit, for Taurus. Show us what Taurus, thank you. All right, so you are, Taurus, going to be working with your money, working with your mind, mastery over your mind, and your thoughts. Okay, and there is a rebirth energy taking place. This card of spring equinox talks often about this idea of the initiation of something, which really, that energy feels so present with this conjunction, the Sun and Pluto, and then just following that, this energy is going right into the Aquarius new moon. And Pluto being in Aquarius for the new moon is going to really amplify that this conjunction, this energy that's the opening, initiating energy of this new cycle. So there's a really powerful opportunity to plant new intentions of what it is you are moving into in this space of the 10th. So the 10th, it is not just your career, it's really how other people know you for what you're known for doing. So it could be that, you could be a stay-at-home mom and you're known as how you lean into that mothering role. It's not necessarily associated to work. It's really about the energetic legacy that you're contributing as your life's work. So the most important things with your passions, with your hobbies, with how you spend your time. And there's something about this that's healing, where you are being this green man, working with synergy with earth magic, which is very Taurian of you, darling. So we've got the pentacle energy here and the green man. what that feels like to me is that you're very tangibly working with your own ability to manifest change, to manifest what you want for this new chapter. And it does have to do with being in this more open state of receiving the abundance that's around you. I am hearing this message that there's been sort of a block that you are able to manifest, but not always receive it. So there is some kind of healing taking place with that concept, I believe, but that'll be individual for each of you. So just lean into that. But what we've got for your tarot messages are the Eight of Wands, Five of Pentacles, Seven of Swords. So it doesn't necessarily, we're not just looking at what do those cards mean. We're looking at what energies are they bringing to the table as the theme of what you're working with. And what I think you're working with is how you can begin to take really tangible action to build from a place where you're not coming at your career, you're not coming at your growth from this place of lack. Rather, you're coming at it from this place of how can I manifest beauty in the world around me? How can I manifest kind of like this heaven on earth vibe, you know, of what do you need to create around you that's gorgeous, that's lush, that's beautiful, that's the environment that you need, and how are you working kind of in tandem with your environment in order to create that. And then Seven of Swords can speak to moving away from what was false or what was fueling your growth that wasn't actually true or accurate. And so I think that this is going to be showing you areas in your life where deception has occurred, where there have been undermining relationships in your life, where you potentially might have been undermining yourself, potentially by telling yourself lies about what you're capable of, what you're able to actually accomplish and do. And so this, to me, feels like you're shifting from a place of where you might have felt a bit broken, or you might have felt like things weren't working, into this place where as you soften, as you begin to allow yourself to open, there's a lot of, I feel like, heart healing focus for you on softening the heart, opening the heart, opening to be in a state of receiving, to allow help in, instead of putting up any sense of barriers or feeling like you have to do it all on your own. So I think that's really what's being shown to me intuitively for you, Taurus. So let's move on now to Gemini. All right. As I gather my cards, Gemini, I will just let you know this is taking place in your 9th house for all Gemini's, Gemini risings. This is your 9th house. So the 9th house is a complex place. It really governs your beliefs. It governs higher education. It governs long distance travel, philosophy, that type of stuff, religion. So there could be a big change taking place in that space. All right. I love this already out the deck. This is great, Gemini. Let's pull. Keep wanting to pull the cards too close to the mic, so I'm sorry for those of you who've heard that. Apologies. Let's get a card for Gemini, please, Spirit. What do they need to know about this conjunction with Pluto and the Sun for our Geminis? Thank you. Ooh, this keeps happening to me. They keep falling in weird places. What? Gemini? I've never got this card. This is freaking beautiful. I love this for you. I 100% love this. The fertile void. I don't know if you can, this camera is not really giving you a good view of the imagery of this card. It's a woman upside down, and she looks like she's in the void or almost underwater. But there's these fertile elements, petals of a flower, bubbles of air that are sort of rising to the surface. And it's about the inner winter, secret new beginnings, rest, patience, and potency. So something really taking place in your mind. Show us more about what's taking place for Gemini, please, Spirit. What transformation? What is Pluto bringing into conscious awareness of our Geminis? What are they going to be working with energetically, please? One more card. One more card, Spirit. Thank you. Okay. Wow. All right. Huh. Oop. And one more oracle card. Losing track, Gemini. All right. Here we go. So, in the fertile void, you have got Dreamtime Creation. So this card is it's kind of a complex card. So try to take a look at that. Do you see this figure here? This is an Aboriginal man, and he's using that musical instrument, which is called the diggeroo. He's using that to sing things into form. Do you see how, I don't know if you can tell, but right here it's his head, and it's connected into the void, basically. It's connected into the fertile void, this space of all things, this space of tuning directly into creation energy, and then bringing that visionary creation energy into form through the use of this musical instrument. So singing it into form, sharing the vibration of that through your essence into form. Okay, you are activating that through your air energy, Gemini. And then look, Spirit speaks. When Spirit speaks, it speaks. You've got wind activation. So yeah, your air energy, this air element of you, which I really feel like is within the mind, the mental energy, your beliefs, your higher visionary knowing. It's through this creation space that you're really bringing in this deep activation within your life. Okay? And that's showing up. So just to get a sense of how this is showing up, I pulled 3 tarot cards to kind of see what wanted to come out on the table in terms of themes and what elements are present. So we know a little bit more about what your energy is focusing on, working on. And it's definitely love. We've got 2 Cups cards and 1 Wands. And it's the King of Wands, which is the master of your mind. So I feel like there's something going on where you're coming into this new sense of mental mastery, and it has to do with your expression, specifically in relationship to how you're taking action on your passions, the things that you love, and how you are sharing that abundance of that love with others from that Queen of Cups position. And your guidance cards, how you're embodying that energy is amazing, off the charts amazing. Your fierceness, your rawness, your ability and your willingness to express your heart in its truest form. That's what I just heard. Expressing your heart in its truest form it's like on behalf of the community or something. There is a collective here. There's a collective energy here. So take whatever that means to you, Gemini Risings, whether that collective is a smaller group of people, friends, family, your community, or if it's larger network. You're doing something from a place of your heart is on fire for it. Your heart's on fire, and you're doing it on behalf of others, and you're willing to share your energy. There's a fierceness, And that brings this freedom, like this freedom of expression is really what's coming through. And it's fueled by your life force energy. So whatever is really igniting your passion, when you share that freely with the world, when you allow your heart to really be on fire for something, that is actually driving this creation energy. So you're birthing something, you're on the precipice of some major, major change. But right now, things are coming into form, and it requires mental mastery. It requires you to get visionary, to unplug, to go into these dream time spaces. So maybe you're meditating more. Maybe you're spending some time learning how you can do some astral traveling. Maybe you're starting a dream journal, literally. Maybe you're just letting yourself get very creative and you are beginning to vision from that space. Whatever it is, you're bringing something really potent into form for yourself. That's awesome, Geminis. Okay, let us move on now. Moving on to Cancer. Cancer, this is taking place in your 8th house. So the 8th house is kind of a confusing place. It does govern a lot of things. You can think of it a lot in terms of contracts, things that you are contractually bound to. So marriage, this can be job contracts, it can be insurance type of contracts, it can be business contracts, it can be inheritance type contracts, anything legal, contractual. This can also govern soul contracts, spiritual contracts, agreements that we made without knowing we made them. This can be a deeply spiritual area for that reason of soul growth. Beautiful. It can be about these promises that we made to ourselves, but also to others, of how we are planning to step up and step forward. Well, you got a lot of rose cards that came out for you, Cancers. Let's see, what else do we need to pull? One of these for Cancer, please show us. Cancer, please, Spirit. What's coming forward for Cancer in the 8th house? What energy is Cancer working with? What is Pluto bringing? Greater trust in the process, rainbows, blessings. So it sounds like, let's just get a general, okay, good. Look at that. All right, Cancer. Here we go. So I pulled 3 tarot cards for you to just kind of give us an idea of what are the themes of the energies that you're going to be working with within the context of the 8th. Also wanted to see if any major arcana popped out, which it did for you. Then we've got, so I'm going to start with your Earth Magic card. You've got Rainbow and Blessings. So this automatically is kind of indicating there's been a bit of a storm that you've gone through. There's been some difficulty. There's been a shift, something that's felt like a hardship. And now you are seeing the rainbow after kind of the light at the end of the tunnel is showing itself. The blessings are starting to show themselves. They're starting to tangibly be felt, be known, be seen. We've got trust as the overarching message. So trusting in the process that is unfolding for you because it is happening on your behalf. And then your Rose Oracle cards that came out. You've got Sub Rosa. What is hidden in plain sight? The mysteries. This is about learning, teaching. We've got the Child Within, speaking about inner mothering, innocence, gentleness, and tenderness. And then we've got We Are Nature, becoming grounded, embodiment, and living in connection. Over here, your tarot cards are Ace of Swords, Justice, Seven of Cups. So, brand new beginning that is a passionate new beginning. Lots of passion. Okay. This can be a new love. Cancer risings, it can be a new love relationship. We've got the Ace of Swords, often indicating a lot of passion, desire. So apply this to the subject that is most appropriate for you, whether this is in a new connection, whether this is exploring some aspect of your own spirit. Maybe this is exploring something that is going to bring you some riches within your job, within your family. We do have Justice cards, so this can signify marriage, can also signify divorce, contracts again. So since this is in your 8th house, this can be affecting your marital contract. You could be getting married, you could be getting divorced, or you could be taking a relationship to the higher level. This can also really represent your own relationship with a higher aspect of self. So are you living in your integrity? Are you showing up in integrity with others within those contractual relationships? Are you holding up your end of the bargain, basically? So this is a card often associated with karma, the idea of karma, karmic justice, right? So there is that element too of bringing your best self forward and making sure you're coming into all of those contractual affairs with that kind of energy. And then we've got the Seven of Cups, indicating this is to do with matters pertaining to the heart, things that are pertaining to, the cups are your emotions, your heart. So there's something going on where maybe there are some things clearing out of your life that are no longer in alignment. Maybe they're no longer the best option for you, or they're not. I'm hearing like they're not what you thought they were, kind of like the writing in the contract. They're not showing up. So take this for whatever it's worth. It's more metaphorical here, but it's like some element, whether this is a relationship, a job, family circumstances, something isn't showing up for you is in the way that it's supposed to, where that it fills your cup, right? And so this is about you needing your own sense of justice and needing to perhaps set and create new boundaries within your relationships. This is going to be very unique and individual for everyone, but these rose cards here are really talking about a process of a person who is going within, learning and touching the hidden mysteries of the universe, bringing those into their body in order to heal. The inner child, or the child within card, is really speaking to your energy, Cancers. This is the embodiment of Cancerian energy. It's that gentleness, that nourisher, that inner mother, that tenderness energy that you have, that you're able to apply and go at things with. You're really working to give that to yourself, to heal, I am hearing. So you may be healing certain important aspects of self. And this is a time still where you're needing to rest. You're needing to really just be in nature. Nature's very healing. This is about grounding your energy, living in an embodiment. So again, the embodiment of your highest aspect. Do you feel fully in alignment with those energies? Do you feel like you are sharing those with the outside world? And are you receiving those back? Are you being held back properly? So I think that these themes, these subjects might really be coming up more for you, my lovely Cancers. So let's move on to Leo. Leo. All right, Leos, this is going to be hitting you big, darling, in your 7th house over the next 18 years. So you're going to be transforming your consciousness through your relationships over the next 18 years. So there could be some shadow work journey going on in the 7th. Take a look. What does Leo need to know, please, Spirit, for this conjunction in their 7th house of relationships? Pluto and the Sun in Aquarius. Oop. Sorry, they're flipping. I just need to grab what wants to come out. Okay. Sorry about that. Leo, I am so sorry. My dog went nuts. We have somebody coming to work on our yard, which is very weird because it's terrible time. But it's a scheduled service and they just showed up. So I'm so sorry for that interruption. I love this for you, Leo. You're getting a lot of cards coming out. We're going to get right into your reading here in a moment. I'm just pulling the last ones, okay? What do we need to know for the Leo Rising collective? Thank you. Stopped it from falling. All right, Leo Rising. So let's get into it, darlings. As I mentioned, this conjunction is taking place in your 7th house. 7th house is associated with relationships of all types, but it's associated with the relationships that bring you the most pleasure, what you would engage with after dark. So friendships, pursuits of pleasure, what you would like to do in your free time. This often is love relationships. This can be also sexual relationships. So there could be a transformation in your expression within your relationship sector. What we've got coming up, I've pulled some oracle cards and pulled some tarot cards. And with the tarot cards, I've pulled them to kind of show us what's the focus in that area of your life. And with the oracle cards, we're getting in overall themes. So something very, very obvious is shown up, which is that it's definitely all about love, Leos. Love, okay? We've got love as your divine feminine oracle card. We also got this, love and compassion, as your earth magic card. You also got clouds, shape shifting, as your earth magic card. And what that really is shape shifting is sort of, you're able to shift your energy based on what you want to express, how you want to show up in relationships. And so I feel like what you're doing is you're showing up, you're shifting, shape shifting, how not only you're expressing love to yourself, but love within the context of your relationships. And your Rose Oracle card, the first one out we've got is The Return. This is about a new story. So it's definitely a new chapter when it comes to your relationships. And this is saying, you decide. This is about you coming into alignment with yourself, with what really supports you going forward, what you need to basically flourish in that environment. And this is a sign that you are coming into alignment. It's coming together for you on your behalf. There are things going on behind the scenes that are putting you into the right circumstances and alignment so that you will basically be meeting the perfect relationships to help you grow in this capacity. The second card we received out is the Sun, which is all about happiness. It's about enjoyment. It's about success, vitality, play. I almost said sex. So that too, it's really enjoying this area of your life from that space. So something is really getting ready to flourish in this sector of your life. We also have the Thorn. So it's definitely going to be a soul growth journey for you, a journey of expansion. You are going to be needing to learn how to communicate your boundaries well. You're going to be working on your communication skills a lot over the next 18 years. And this is a card that speaks to the need for you to clearly communicate your boundaries, to create boundaries that keep you in a safe space of protection, and that is the reason why the rose has its thorn, is to protect its delicate petals, its delicate contents, right? And that's what our boundaries do for us. Then you also have sub rosa, hidden in plain sight, mysteries, learning, and teaching. So again, really feeling like there's going to be some uncovering of some deep soul growth for you in the context of love, which often is true. Our relationships are our greatest teachers. Those are what really push us to our edges. That's usually when we encounter our shadow self and we really see those areas that we need to bring more love, more compassion. How can we show up more authentically in that space, right? So let's take a look at your tarot cards. So something's definitely in process because 3 of the cards came out in reverse. Not that they're telling us the theme, because that's not what I was utilizing them for. This is really just, 18 years is too long of a period of time to get a comprehensive theme. But what we wanted to know is, what is this initial pass bringing into your awareness? And it's definitely something that is about your mind and your passion. So bringing that curiosity of self, your ability to vision and go after what you want, what is passionately calling to your soul, from a space of enjoyment, right? And how can you get out of your own mind sometimes about that? There is this, we've got the 4 of Swords and 7 of Swords energy in addition to the Page of Wands. And 4 of Swords can talk about not only, it can refer to divine connections, but like in the card, you can see the appearance of, the 2 swords and the 3 pillars, and it can be representative of like 11:11 and then that portal space between them. And we've got 2 swords on either side. So it's balancing something from the past, but it's also being willing to walk away from what didn't serve you in the past in the context of relationships. What perhaps fears or bondage, I'm hearing the word bondage, might you have about how circumstances may have gone down in this particular area of your life in the past? Meaning, are you still holding on to any old fears or beliefs or anything to do with how you approach the topic of love, partnership, friendship, those types of topics? Because what Spirit is guiding you towards and saying is that you're going to need to be bringing a much greater amount of love and compassion to yourself first in order to transform this outwardly. And I feel like with the 7 of Swords present here, part of the soul growth journey for a good amount of you watching this as a Leo rising has been to do with not having been held properly in relationships before. Times when you may have been betrayed, where you may have been made to feel like you were an option, or you may have felt stabbed in the back by friends or those who were close to you who should have had your back. And what you're doing is you're moving away from that. You're moving away from these old experiences of having shown up in this area of your life in that way. So what it feels to me like is that you are manifesting from this really deep place of inner love for self. You're manifesting a new expression within your relationships. And that extends it starts with you, right? It starts with your own healing journey about that. And as you do that work and apply the love and compassion to thyself, it is going to shift the expression of your relationships all the way around you. So that is what you have, what I have for you at least, Leo risings. Let's move on to Virgo risings. Your first two cards just fell, so hold on, Virgo. Let me grab them. This is going to be taking place in your 6th house, Virgo risings. Okay. So we're going to just pull all of our cards for our Virgos, please. Thank you, Spirit. So your 6th house is associated with your daily work, your work habits, your daily routines, your health. So it's really about what you do every day consistently, what you're putting your time, energy, and effort into every day consistently. And a lot of times this does mean your career, what you're doing on a daily basis, right, with your energy. But this is also the routines that you have. This is also the things that you tend to in your natural environment on a daily basis. So self-care routines, health routines, routines with your pets, with your family, the things that are like something that shows up for you on a daily basis. Okay, Virgo risings, here's what we've got. So within this space, it looks like you are starting an entirely new chapter. You've got the Fool for your tarot card, the Three of Wands, and the Hierophant. So the Hierophant can speak to bringing in greater self-love, greater awareness, but this really is likely speaking to you bringing in greater alignment into the energetics of your day, meaning you are aligning your thoughts and your emotions and your actions in order to create the manifested daily routine, the manifested day that you want. So you are really calling upon your own inner access to that higher knowing, your intuitive knowing, to help you as you're on that path. And you know, you're starting off with the Fool, which is a brand new beginning. The Fool is the 0 card. It's the fresh start, and it symbolizes you don't know what you don't know. So this can be taking a leap of faith in something that you're going to be doing on a daily basis. And so maybe that's a change in your career, a change in your focus of what is your daily routine. But it definitely looks like it's both collaborative and visionary, meaning it's something you're working with within the space of your mind, within your creativity. This is major life change for you, even though it is in the 6th house, which isn't always associated as one of those really potent, we'll call it a Kintron stake. You know, the 1st, 7th, 4th, and 10th are typically, that's the cardinal cross energies in a birth chart. The 6th house isn't part of that. It's a supportive house to that, right? But this you've got two major arcana that came out for Pluto being in this space of your life. So I feel like that means there's going to be a major upheaval, major change, but it is for the best. We've got this brand new beginning where you were going for it. You're getting ready to start out on a new journey, the hero's journey, so to speak. And then we've also got the Hierophant here, which again, symbolic of being in a greater sense of alignment with your higher aspect of self. And we're really bringing in this visionary energy that you're wanting to build and create. And it might not be here, but maybe that's going to be part of what you're working on. So what you are bringing in, let's see. For your Earth Magic cards, we have you being guided by a greater sense of love and compassion. So maybe that's showing up as greater sense of self-love, greater sense of self-compassion. Maybe you're sharing that more in what you're doing on a daily basis with others. So perhaps in your work relationships or within the job, you may be venturing down this path. Maybe you're becoming a healer, Virgo Risings. You know, you could be becoming a healer and really using that love. But whatever this is doing, it's evoking a deep sense of joy, and you're being advised to work with the energy of joy, to infuse this energy into everything you do on a daily basis. Nurture yourself with joy, nurture others with joy, nurture your daily routines and habits, because you're after this new sense of joy, expression of greater love and compassion. You are being called to focus on the details, focus on the energy that you wish to create, focus on the environment that you wish to build. You're also being called to focus upon your life force energy. What is really passionately calling you forward? Again, creating these visions from a space of passion, from a space of what's really lighting you up on the inside, and allowing that to radiate out of you. That joy is so contagious that life force just radiates from you and is experienced by others around you through the expression of yourself. I have to carefully cover that spot. But in this card, this particular character is combining and working with their throat chakra, their heart chakra, and their sacral chakra. And what they are doing is deeply expressing themselves. They're expressing their life force, they're expressing their joy, and they're expressing their love in and through them, as them, through their vibration. And it's creating these ripple effects out into the world that bring forward this vision. So in general, Virgos, you are really stepping it up in your daily routines and habits. You're bringing, I really feel like self-care, self-love, and this like a nurturing of your spiritual aspect into play. But I'm feeling like I'm also really tuning into a group of Virgo risings that are getting ready to embark on stepping into being healers, stepping into sharing and expressing their own healing gifts with the world. And the last card you have is the second bloom. This is second chance. It's never too late. This is a card of new possibilities. So if you are starting over in your career, or if you are just embarking on a new venture, whether it's a healing venture or not, this is a card from the universe saying, go for it. It is your second chance. You get a second bloom. You get a second go at reinventing yourself. So go boldly, go boldly as yourself. Express your life force. Express your life force, through your heart, with compassion, and really focus in on what it is you are wanting to grow for yourself. All right, Virgos, that's all that I have for you, darlings. Let's move on to our Libra risings. Hi, my babies. Hello, Libra Risings. So for you, this is taking place in your 5th house, which is the joy of Venus, your ruling archetypal energy. So that's lovely. 5th house is really associated with creativity, with your inner child, with connecting to joy and play. It can also be really associated with mothering, with the parenting journey, with children. That creative exploration of allowing yourself to just get lost in the pleasure of something is associated with pleasure. So it can be associated also with sex. Sorry, I had 2 cards just fall. Just trying to talk and pull cards at the same time for you, darlings. Ooh, Libras. The Holy Grail just came out. Okay. What do my lovely Libras need to know about this conjunction, Spirit? Give me a card for our Libra Risings. What do we need to know? Thank you. Okay. All right. And just a few more cards for our Libra Risings, please. Some readers are really good at talking and pulling cards. I always find myself like zoning in to focus on the card pull. So I'm sorry about that. And let's get the overall energies that Libra Risings are going to be working with, please, in the 5th house. Spirit, show us the themes, the topics, the focus for our Libra Risings. What do they have to look forward to in the 5th house? Okay. All right, we had a few extras wanting to fall out, Libra Risings, but let's get into this, shall we? All right, so first card out, we have Nature. Isn't that beautiful? So automatically just really tuning in and maybe feeling that focus on your own creative nature, the fact that you are a child of nature, that you are a fractal of nature, a multi-dimensional being of nature and of the cosmos. And that as such, that can reflect through you. You can be the portal of that. You can create that, and you have that creation energy coursing through you, right? It's coming through the heart space. And your earth magic cards are drawing you to both your earth connections and your galactic connections. So we've got first Milky Way, which is a card about perspective that we'll discuss. And then we've got forest and the breath. So again, huge focus on nature, spending time in nature, spending time doing some forest bathing, perhaps getting inspiration, playing, getting lost in the forest, and allowing that to be regenerative, right? The breath regenerates us, it resets us, it allows us to soothe our energy, soothe our mind, soothe our body. And there's this synergistic relationship that we have. So I feel like the forest is bringing in this idea of synergy, of recycling. What we breathe out, the trees breathe in. And what they breathe out and exhale, we breathe in. And there's this beautiful synergistic relationship that just takes place. And so how can that rejuvenate you? How can that bring you healing? The Milky Way is not only remembering that you are a cosmic citizen, that you are a soul living in a body, having a human experience. So it brings you into this perspective that maybe don't take yourself quite as seriously, or maybe it's suggesting that you are getting a different perspective on a major aspect of what brings you joy and what lights you up in your life, potentially to do with your very nature, the nature of who you are, your how you are composed, what your ecosystem needs, right, to thrive. And your first Rose Oracle card we've got is the Anointed. The Anointed is about answering the call. It's about receiving a call from within, related to your own soul's gifts, related to empowering the expression of those gifts out into the world. The Anointed is a card about stepping up into a leadership role. And where are you being called to take the lead, to really embody fully your soul gifts, to share that, perhaps through your expression, through potentially your creative expression, right? Since this isn't your fifth house. And then we've also got, you can see this, the Holy Grail. Stop the endless searching, Libra Risings. I feel like that's a specific message someone needs to hear. Stop the searching. This is about being on an inner quest, looking for answers outside of yourself, but needing to go within to find your truth. That the Holy Grail actually lies within you. And if you see on the imagery of this card, there's an eagle, right, flying as she is making contact with her higher consciousness, could be the sun, could be higher consciousness flowing into her from the divine. But the eagle is symbolically the messenger between the animal kingdom and the heavens, and is able to communicate, kind of like Saturn. Saturn is that boundaried planet that represents that division between our 3D world and the tangible sphere that we're at, and our spiritual realms and the communication that comes to us from the heavens. And so this Holy Grail is about going within to your own inner wise counsel and not searching for the answers outside of yourself, but instead allowing yourself to be led. Again, answering the call, stepping up, right? There's maybe this is your mission, right? Perhaps you've been training for this for lifetimes, and you have soul gifts that you are meant to express. And this could be about getting out of your way. This could be about, there's not another course you need. There's not another certification. There's no more study that you need to do, that you now hold in your possession the Holy Grail of wisdom that you're ready to share. And there's nothing else you need to add to that before it's in its perfect form. It's already in its perfect form and it's ready to be shared. And you, being the Anointed, are being called to share that. So when I pulled tarot, I'm pulling these less for the messages, because I don't think we're going to get messages for an 18-year span of time. I just don't. But I do think that this can give us some pointers as to the topics that we're likely to be working through, and also shine some light on what these opening energies are, what this seeding point is with this conjunction energy that's initiating this new 18-year cycle or chapter in this space of our lives, right? So you have got the Hanged Woman, the Two of Pentacles, Justice card, and the Wheel of Fortune. 3 major arcana. I only meant to pull 3 cards, so you got a bonus card. Pentacles is definitely tangible earth energy. So this is definitely about a very deep inner process that you're working to create something tangible that's not only tangible in the sense that it's a tangible manifestation for you, but tangible in the sense that this is going to help you build your abundance. Pentacles is money, right? It's what you are working toward, actual manifestation. And Two of Pentacles can indicate a partnership or decision or choice. So you might be finding yourself pulled in 2 different directions, potentially, which could definitely be speaking to this Hanged Woman. The Hanged Woman is also, it's just like the Hanged Man, you know, it's sort of being in this place where you're ready to go for it, but you feel a bit stuck, right? You feel maybe like you're lacking the resources. And so this could be a bit about gaining confidence in self, confidence in the expression, that you have everything you need in order to create from this space. There's definitely a component of bringing your higher self to the table. The Justice card is Libra energy, of course. So here you are showing up in your highest aspect, but it's also a card about showing up as your authentic self and your most authentic energy. You're in alignment with that knowing within yourself. So you're showing up in your truth. There's no need to wear any masks. This can also speak to changes in relationships, whether that is, it can speak to contracts, right? So it can be love, but it can also be business. It can also, anything pertaining to a contract that could be legal is governed by justice. So this is really saying that there could be things that really have kind of like these long-term implications for you, that you're going to really need to have the foresight in the moment and then also long-term about, is this, number one, holding you in a sense of fairness and truth and integrity, but number 2, keeping you in alignment with that sense of your own higher balance within yourself, that balance within your integrity, you know, and so there can be maybe some conflict about which direction you want to go. And so it's okay if you're feeling a little bit stalled out at first, or like you're not sure what direction you want to build, what direction you want to grow. There is a huge cycle changing, and it feels like it's a karmic cycle related to a karmic change or a change within the storyline of your life, right? So it's about shifting cycles right now, and you really needing to, I feel, ground yourself in nature, spend time in nature, and really take maybe a different perspective or zoom out on anything that you feel stuck upon. Because Spirit is guiding you to work within what lies within, and that you are actually the leader. You're being asked to step up and lead. You might be having to make a big jump in relationship to this area of your life, make a big decision, right? You might need to jump and go for it and just decide that you are going to go for it. Sometimes that can be like that feeling of just being in the dark, needing to take a beat and perhaps let go of the things that have held you back in the past from being your authentic self. I'm really being called to this nature card to focus on your unique nature, the unique multifaceted expression of you as you, and that there's only one of those, right? And you're not meant to fit in with everyone. You're not meant to be a yes for everyone. And so sometimes we can kind of like adjust ourselves to try to fit in. And so this might be about you needing, with this Wheel of Fortune, this new cycle, this might be about you needing to surrender in some capacity, whether that's to a new reality, to a new dream, surrender old visions that you held on to that you feel may be holding you back. You're creating from this space of regeneration and healing, nurturing. And so you're looking at what hasn't worked, or where have you held too tightly in your life to the need to control the outcome of a situation. This is about accepting where you are right now, and not only where you are, but who you've become, your own unique expression. Your own unique nature is what I just heard. So expressing that without the need to hide, to stand in your truth, and really just continuing to do and turn to the things you know to be true. Again, that inner quest within, that holy grail within, holds those answers for you and is really, I feel like, guiding you on the way. All right. So that's what I've got for you, Libras. I hope that is helpful. Let's move on to Scorpio Risings. Let me just get our cards situated and do a little shuffling, Scorpios. So for you, this is hitting you in a big spot, darling. This is going to be this conjunction taking place in your 4th house, Scorpio. So the 4th house is associated with the IC, the lowest point, that culmination, foundational point within the chart. And it often represents your home, your family, your foundation, where you're from, your roots. It can be ancestry. It's what you need to feel safe and at home. And you got the card of community coming out. So within the foundation of your network, it looks like you're going to be focusing on growing that foundation of community in relationship to your home. Let's get some oracle messages from the Rose Oracle for you, Scorpio Risings. More, please. Oop, oop, oop. Okay. Beautiful. First card out, the second bloom, a second chance. It's never too late. New possibilities. So again, applying that to the theme of home, foundation, family, roots, ancestry, what you need to feel good, safe, and secure. it's never too late. There's new possibilities. There's opportunities for a second chance here, for transformation, for regeneration, which are very Plutonian words. Woo. Okay. 2 more cards, please, Spirit, for our Scorpio risings. What themes are coming up in their 4th? All right. And one fall on the floor. Oh, Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio. Oh, Scorpio. Okay. So the second bloom was the first Rose Oracle. Then we've got Rose Without Thorns. So you have every right to your own joy, your own peace, to surrender to the sweetness of life and to experience that for yourself. Specifically in your home. You don't need to be worried about walking on eggshells, I just heard. Some of you Scorpios may be moving through this sense of needing to recreate a safe space within your home, or the feelings of safety within your home. Protecting your joy, protecting your peace, right? We also have the breathing rose. Very beautiful energy here, but this is about heart healing, emotional healing, healing of connections that potentially have been really difficult, really painful, potentially connections that go quite deep for you, because this is in the space of the 4th house. So this can speak to your closest relationships, those who you live with, your family roots, again, your ancestry. And I'm really picking up on this sense of deep sadness for whatever collective I'm tapping into of Scorpio risings. But it's about, they say time eases the pain. And things do shift with time. But really what happens is we're really kind of just able to come into a greater sense of acceptance with the changes, and where sometimes where our relationship connections go. And sometimes that is disappointing, And so in this 18 years, you're going to have a lot of heart healing that you're working through, emotional processing, tending to healing some of those inner child wounds, again, ancestral or familial wounds that come from growing up in a certain environment, being raised in a certain way. Basically, it's that reparenting of yourself, right, that you create. And it's very much about seeking peace, joy, and safety, and that sweetness in life that you really, truly want to be surrounded with. Your Earth Magic card is Communion. Communion with Eagle Spirit. Now, Eagle just came up in another reading on a different card, and what I was saying about it is that Eagle often, it represents a boundary of communication in the animal world, similar to how Saturn represents that boundary of communication from planetary energy. And it's the communication between the physical world, the earth plane, and the spiritual world. And for the animal kingdom, the eagle is that animal that can go the furthest, can touch spirit, so to speak, and bring messages back from heaven, from divine forces, from our spirit guides. So eagle might be showing up as an ally for you to work with, might be showing up for you powerfully throughout, especially this year, but this period of time. And again, this sense of community. And so I'm feeling, I heard bloom where you are planted, but I'm also hearing that, you know, you create your own family. Sometimes your community is like your chosen family. And that's what that looks like here. This looks like a sisterhood of chosen family that are really uniting together with this same intention. You see, because they're in a healing circle, holding hands in prayer, united for that same cause. And the energies that you're going to be working with within the fourth are going to be relating to your own sense of self-sufficiency, your own sense of taking care of yourself, being an independent person, being able to create the prosperity and abundance you need. So this is very much about you coming into your own sense of abundance and your strength within that sense of abundance. This is also you coming into the fullness of your heart energy in this space, turning your eyes into becoming that Queen of Cups, who has so much abundance that she is ready to share that from her heart space with others in an act of service. This is a very nurturing queen, and is a lot of heart energy here. So this is emotions. The cups are our emotions, our heart space, definitely still reinforcing that heart healing and the healing of your emotions. And what are you healing? Well, we've got the moon. There's things in the shadows still, things unknown still, that are being made aware. And probably throughout the lunation cycles, you're going to notice topics, themes, things getting activated, especially over the course of the next 18 years, which is why I say to journal, because it's nice to be able to look back. You know, you may have a transit that comes along and is speaking really loudly, and maybe that transit showed up in another type of way, a similar way. And if you were journaling, you could look back and you could see what topics were coming up for you, what were the main energies that were presenting in their life at that moment, and it might provide a greater sense of illumination for you. But I really feel like, you know, the moon connects us to our emotions, it connects us to our intuition and into the unconscious realms where we don't always see initially, but we feel it first, right? So allowing yourself maybe to lean more into your felt senses of knowing as your guidance for when you don't have the facts, right? Leaning into your intuitive self here through this growth process for when there's something that's unknown, right? And then you also have some Page of Swords energy, which, you know, the swords represent kind of that air energy of the mind, new ways of visioning what it is you want to build, the structures you want to build in your life, the things that really light you up. Sorry about that background noise going by us. And what I feel like that is the structure of your family. How do you want the structure of your home life, your foundation, those closest relationships to really support you? All right. Moving on now to my Sagittarius risings. Hello, Sagittarius. This is going to be happening in your third house. Your third house is local environment, local community, your local networks, or the networks that you're in contact with the most frequently. You know, typically it represented like your neighborhood, but now that we have this digital world, it can also represent like the groups that you're a part of digitally, that you interact with regularly, that you would consider your local community, right? So groups, organizations, schools, workplaces, the general region in which you live, city, state, town, short distance travel. This can represent learning, new areas of the mind that are opening up. Okay. And just a few more cards, Sag. Thanks for being patient. I like to pull them all together. And the third house is also how you writing, expression, creating. You're getting a lot of cards here, Sag, so we've got something underway. So let's just get the general theme, please, Spirit, for Sagittarius Rising. What themes are going to be showing up with Pluto activating this area? All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, let's get this started, shall we? All right, so you have the card first that I first drawn to is potential, the seed of potential. So, as I said, that this is like a seeding point. It's sort of like a new moon. It's seeding some potential of transformation and growth in this space that's about your networks and community. So we've got potential, we've got receiving, we've got creation, you've got the Empress, you've got sacred waters, you've got held, you've got the breathing rose, cave, sanctuary, autumn equinox, and pentacle energy. So let's make sense out of this. So it seems like what is going on is around you, there's a sense of loss, but there's also a sense of something new that's wanting to be birthed, wanting to be created, that you want to heal from this place of feeling sad, isolated, or alone, or from this place of lack. And you're ready to take some kind of passionate action, or there's going to be some passionate, tangible movement in this area of your life. And where you're moving from seems to be the sanctuary space, this cave, this inner cave, inner sanctuary. Again, giving allegory of the cave idea with the noetic light speech that I was giving at the beginning. You can see this actually being depicted. This is literally the allegory of the cave, right? Because this is the fire casting the shadows on the wall. And he's drawing images with the light based on what he sees, right? And so there's this inner cave, but then, and that's giving sanctuary, but then there's this beautiful vista. And so I feel like this is depicting this inner world, outer world situation. There's something that you are releasing, something that you are walking away from, something in your life that has come to a full harvest point, to which it's now this new phase where you are literally ready to give birth and bring forward this new aspect. But it involves you needing to learn, I'm hearing, how to work with your energy more, to open yourself into a state of receiving. And what I mean by that is that when you're moving with this pentacle energy from this place of lack, which this could also be that cave sanctuary, right? You can see that this looks like this person in a cave. This is the Five of Pentacles, which is often speaking of this place of suffering, this place of feeling lack, of feeling despair, of things having not worked out well, not really having, it's duplicative of some hardship, right? And sometimes I'm being guided to say this for some reason, so someone must need to hear this, but sometimes when we are seeking to manifest and our manifestations have not yet landed, it's because we haven't made the space yet. So if you can think of yourself as a container, as an energetic container, or your own seed space, we've got our body and we've got our energy that's around us, that is our auric field, and that energy right there is our container. And so we're required, our own personal work, I guess I could say, is what requires us to do some of that deeper clearing and cleansing of our own thoughts, our emotions, when situations change, when things evolve or grow or pass away, when the sense of loss has occurred, we need to clear our energy and release and make space within our container so that there's space for us to receive these new creations, right? So something's been really incubating within you. Something really wants to drop into form within your life, within your world. It's in relationship to your local community. It's in relationship to how you operate within your networks. It is also really in relationship to your own skills, kind of like your entrepreneurial skills that you bring to the table, to the area. And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight, I'm not going to lie. So this knight is slow, but it's the only one of all the knights that has a tangible plan. A strategic, tangible plan that's actually going to yield manifestation results and result in abundant pentacles coming into you. And so your healing cards are about, you've got the Breathing Rose, Held, and Sacred Waters. So this is definitely about you going through a deep period of heart healing, of emotional healing, healing connections within your own heart related to your network and how you fit it around you. You're receiving guidance from Spirit that you are held right now in a protective space. Something is being incubated within you, and you are being advised to call on unseen help. You know, so this is your spiritual guides. This is your ancestors that may be supporting you in your life. This could be ancestors that have moved on. This could be literally calling upon your tangible support system and support network within your community space. So make sure that you call that in for yourself if you're moving through something rather difficult. We also, with the Sacred Waters, have this sense of you really needing to take time to do some healing work, to nourish yourself. This is about replenishing your energy, replenishing your health, attending to your self-care, taking the time to rest. So perhaps there's some massive rearrangement happening within your local environment, your local network, that feels to you like it's requiring a deep healing journey. But you're in this space where something is being birthed from that that's incredibly potent. It's got this huge potential that's really going to open up your world for you. And so lean into that. Lean into how this is showing up. You'll have a general idea because you would have already had a little glance at this when Pluto first entered into Aquarius on its retrograde journey. But now that Pluto has entered into Aquarius and has been there for a little bit, and with the sun coming into contact, this is really going to be bringing to your awareness more and more what the journey is about. So you're likely already getting a good idea of what this is, and just lean into that process. I'm sending you so much love, Sages, whatever you're going through. It sounds like it's heavy on the heart and requiring a lot of inner growth and strength on your part. So I wish you all the best with that. And if there's anything I can personally do, I'm here. I do offer personal readings and other supportive meditations, if that's something that might help. All right, let's move on to last but not least, our Capricorn Risings. Please, Spirit, show me Capricorn Rising. What are they growing, healing from? Caps, this is happening in your second house. So that is the house of your resources, of your value, of your money. Sorry about that. I hit the mic. What do we have? Ooh, new beginning. You are calling things into being through your dreams, Capricorn. And you're really working with your own energy, creating your own invocations, personal ceremonies, personal ritual work, potentially, that is bringing value to your life, that is helping you to manifest, potentially, that is using your own resources, right? Your energy is your own resource that you have to utilize to manifest from. So second house is about drawing upon what you already have and know. Capricorn Risings, please, Spirit, thank you. All right, and operating. So compassion is the space from which you are operating from. So with your compassion, you're also utilizing your ability to discern this new beginning for yourself, how you want to work with your energy, what new direction you wish to head, that you wish to bring into form. So on this card, you can see, let's see, this is a figure. Can you see that? This is a man. His head is right here. And this is his hair, and it's like touching the clouds and touching the universe. It's touching that realm of the void where all possibilities and potentials exist. And what he's doing is using this instrument that you see. It's called a diggeroo. This is an Aboriginal individual using his instrument to literally bring things into form through song, through vibration, through his breath, and through his ability to ultimately channel this through his own connections. So through his connection to spirit, to the void, to all pure potential that exists within the universe, this individual is channeling that into creation, bringing that into form through their own vibration, right? And here we have this person in prayer and daily ceremony with themselves. This very much could also be about you speaking things into form, utilizing your affirmations and your words, your vibration to really bring things into form. Again, yeah. Okay, so the themes that you are going to be working with is heart energy, your mind. Yeah, you're working with your heart and your mind. So what I feel like is that your third eye is coming into a greater sense of coherence within the space of your heart. I feel like that's why we have the discernment card out here too. It's that knowing, that inner knowing, that wise woman who knows. And we've got, come to me, attracting like a rose, receive abundance and desires. We also have the reunion, soul recognition, collaboration, partnerships, friendships. So perhaps you're calling more of that to you. Perhaps you're calling in more friendship, more partnership, more collaboration. People who feel like your soul tribe, that you have a soul recognition with. But what I'm really feeling with this come to me is that through these efforts here, through your invocations, your affirmations, through speaking things and dreaming things into form, that itself is attracting like a magnet everything you are wanting to grow and manifest as this new beginning that's taking place within your second house. The house of resources, the house of your finances, the house of those. I also think of the second house as your creature comforts, the things that you find value in, which, is that soul tribe. Like you find value in those deep connections, those deep partnerships that fill your cup up, fill up your heart, right? And if you notice, in this compassion card, it's got an entire community that she's holding in her heart. So I pulled Tarot just to get the idea. This isn't going to give us a comprehensive, full understanding of what you can expect to see taking place over 18 years, but it does give us the energetic themes that you're at least opening with. It gives us the topics where you're going to be focusing. So again, heart and mind, and where I feel like what you're doing is you're leaving difficulty, you're leaving any sense of strife behind, and you're taking action to choose what's in alignment with your soul. You're making a choice to choose what really lights you up in terms of these partnerships, these soul connections. And the Knight of Cups is energy that speaks to passion. It speaks to charisma. It speaks to chemistry. So again, really feeling like this energy of partnerships, of collaboration, friendships, and your soul tribe coming is really going to be of focus. So that's exciting, Capricorns. You're going to be feeling really good and like you're getting a very solid community, which, when we have that community around us, that is a huge resource, isn't it? It's something we can count on. It's something that brings us so much value and that we contribute our value to, and it's a reciprocal relationship. So I feel like that's really what you are focusing on, and that you're visioning that into form as we get started. You're visioning, what does that look like to me? What is that perfect way? So spend time dreaming about what are the type of people that you really want to feel surrounded by. What networks, what collaborations, speak to your passions, speaks to what lights you up. And the universe is saying all you have to do is just be beautiful, your beautiful self, Capricorn, because you're attracting it to you like a magnet. It's magnetized to you based on your vibration. That's what I just heard, based on your vibration and based on your affirmations, your beliefs, your thoughts, the coherence between the mind and the heart, and speaking things into form. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging out with me for so long for this video. I hope that it has been supportive. Definitely go listen to your Sun, Moon, and Rising. Again, dropping a link below for those who don't know what that sign is. But hopefully this video has given you some food for thought and you've enjoyed it. And we'll see you soon. Take care.